Soulmates, today I went to one of the best organic holistic spa and transformation wellness center. I'm here to see Cheryl Petroni, the owner of the Oasis to Zen Wellness Center and Transformation Spa for ear candling service. I'll give my review of how the service went in the end of this video.
Hello, Hazel. Come into
Hi,
our lovely
Sherry.
spa.
Thank you.
Okay. So when you lay on your side, like have you ever seen somebody like on YouTube and they're like, "Ha ha, I'm ear candling," and they're like, or whatever. And so if any, yeah, so that happens, right? But it's not ideal. And if you're doing it on yourself, you take the chance of burning your hair. So you'll see what I'm doing. But yeah, so you'll lay on one side. Okay. So pick a side, doesn't matter. So then the first step is, so have you, there you go. See, so this straight is ergonomically correct, and the most of the draining or the clearing of the ear canal goes through here, which is your ear, nose, and throat. So you have the eustachian tubes that connect your nose and your ears and your throat, and it's going to drain for the next 24 to 48 hours. So you may feel at one point that you cough, or you might cough now. It's all fine. Okay. You might not feel it at all. I've had people call me and go, "Oh my gosh, I was just in the shower and I just coughed and I know a bunch of stuff went down my throat." And I'm like, "Thank you for sharing." And so it's so there may be that you notice that, but you're not having an issue. So this is more going to be for you to feel what it feels like, and you'll notice a difference, and it might take a minute. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my little, you're not supposed to ever stick a Q-tip in your ear, but someone else can. No, I'm joking. I'm just going to get right around the outside here to cleanse. I use an essential oil blend to cleanse and just get it clean. And then I'm going to set this aside, and we're only doing one in each ear. So now next step is, I just talked about a joke, about the hair burning, but this is important. This is flame retardant. Obviously, if we dropped a giant fireball on it, it's not going to protect. But I've never had anything happen to someone's head of hair, but I don't ever want to. So this is the next step. And we cover that up. And the other one, this will kind of keep you warm as well, I suppose, if it does get a little chilly. And then now we have your ear canal cleaned, and we have this is if you've ever not seen an ear candle, open your eyes. Open your eyes. This is what an ear candle looks like.
I'm falling asleep.
Yeah,
here.
I know. She's going. She's going.
Funny.
But yeah, see how it's just, and then it's gonna come through here. And how do I know it's set properly? The smoke won't be coming out of the side of your ear. Oh. It'll be going in, and that energetic shift of the smoke and a little bit of heat, it's gonna open everything up. And what I liken this to is a chiropractic adjustment for the ear and all of this area, because of the muscles and the bones, because there's so many little bones, and they just relax, and everything kind of goes where it needs to be. And if anything needs to drain, if there's a little bit of water in there, whatever, it just allows everything to go where it needs to be. Now, before I start this, I'm going to cut the end a little bit, because you don't need it way down there, and it's just kind of a nice thing to do for somebody. And I'm going to put this, it just seats a little bit nicer. And then of course I have this protection. Okay. So that as I cut, as we do the fire, this is literally all it's going to look like. And then from here it's really kind of dull. As I just let it burn, make sure that I'm like the fire marshal, so that nothing happens, because that's important. We don't want anything to happen. Oh, and I need the scissors. Wait a minute, because I'm gonna cut.
Like,
yeah, and we don't want
it.
And That might feel a little weird. And does it feel okay?
Yeah. What am I supposed to feel?
Well, it might feel, and yeah, there's nothing coming out. It might feel a little bit tight. You know, it
Okay.
might feel fine. Some people have
Not burning.
super tiny ear canals. And so, you know, they're very, very tiny. And so they might want to scream for a second. I have a client who's like
You
that.
said scream?
Scream. I'm joking.
Oh my
She's-
gosh.
She's
No.
very, very sensitive to her in her ear, and so it takes her a minute before she's okay. So.
Oh.
And then this is what we
Is it
do:
gonna
is we
hurt?
just simply let it burn
Is it gonna
and
hurt?
do its thing. Yeah. No, this is it.
It's
You
gonna
know,
hurt.
I might do a little bit of, like in a minute or so, I'm going to work a little bit maybe with the Eustachian tube, do a little bit of pressure like this, but not the whole time, and it just depends on how I feel the burn is going. And you'll get really relaxed, and you may fall asleep, and that's okay.
Mm.
Then I have to wake you up to flip it to the other side. And then this is good if you don't have an issue with your ears, a challenge.
gonna
You know,
find out.
if you're seeming to be able to hear fine and that kind of thing, you're just this is one candle in each ear is really good for maintenance. 2 candles if somebody's having a challenge. Like my son, I used to have to do every couple months 2 candles per ear, even when he was very small, because he had a lot of congestion that would build up. And you could tell at the house because he was turning up the TV and things as high as he could.
Oh, wow.
And so it didn't work real well for the rest of us. So we knew I had to go ahead and candle his ears. And I had already been doing this in the treatment room even 20 years ago. And so it was an easy thing for me to just take home and do that. And on occasion, we can do up to 3 if there's a real big, like a situation that it's very much so like they've tried everything else and they're really miserable, and very rarely, I think I've only done it once in my entire career. But
Yeah, no, I don't think I have a problem, but
No.
we're gonna find
Oh
out.
no!
Because
Oh no! No!
I wear a headset all the time at work, so I don't know if that really.
Well, it can
You know.
keep things from naturally coming out, you know, as well as draining and stuff. And you know, a lot of people that know this works will do, you know, because sometimes I have people come in and they're, oh, I don't know, and then they quite often leave as believers, but they've often tried everything else that they could. I've also found that some people will go to the doctors and get their ears cleaned with the whole
Yeah.
water and the tools. I just see all these metal tools and things
Yeah.
in my head and stuff, and I know my brother used to have that every once in a while, and he wouldn't do anything but this now. But
Oh,
I've had
really?
people that have
Good.
been, and I'm cutting now, and you won't feel a thing. And then I just put it in water over here. You keep going when it gets to a certain length. And so what happens is there are people that have come in after even that they didn't get any resolve with whatever happened at the doctors. And not to say it doesn't work or anything, I'm not shaming anyone or anything, but sometimes it doesn't work, so then they'll come in here with this, and so it's another alternative to some of the other things we could do. And you know, since you're not supposed to stick anything in your ear deeper than right at the edge like we're doing here, smaller than your elbow, kind of really makes it kind of hard. But what's cool about this is you've got your eardrum in there, right? So when people talk about this sucking up like a vortex of energy, right, and then it has this vacuum, and there is a bit of a vacuum that takes place here because you want it to be a closed system, right, as we're doing this. However, there's an eardrum very close. So we can't get past the eardrum to have things come up, right? That has to drain through the eustachian tube. And that's where this becomes very beneficial, because this shift allows that to drain. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And so while there might be a bit of something that could come up into the ear candle, for the most part it's working from the other side, where it drains all the way into your throat, which is why I was saying you could cough or something, but not necessarily. I mean, I've never had that happen. But some people do.
Does somebody do it for you, or you do it?
Oh, yes, I don't do this to myself, because I'd like to keep my head of hair.
Oh, okay.
I'm a little bit, you've known me a while, I'm kind of a joker, but you know what, would that be awful if we had this beautiful hair and it burned? Because if you have one part of it burned, you kind of got to either really go with some sort of really cool punk kind of hairdo, and I don't know that I could pull it off at my age. Maybe I could. I would probably try that, knowing who I am, but yeah, there's just that added thing. And yes, you want to be laying down, right? And so how am I going to do this really effectively lying down, right? Like you are. Imagine having to hold the candle and watch in a mirror and then cut it as needed.
Right. It's
And
gonna
one
be
of
challenge.
Yeah. And one of the other things is, like, every time you take this out, then you have to reset the tiny vortex that's taking place here, right? And so we don't want to take that out in between. I was guided by spirit one time to go to an ear candling class, and I'm like, it's on a Sunday, I don't want to go. It's like 2:00 in the afternoon, and being the silly person that I am, I said, okay, God, you send somebody that wants me to come to that and call me or something, and then I'll go. And my sister called me, who doesn't ever really, we're close, but we don't do a lot of things together. She said, Sherry, did you see this ear candling thing on Facebook? And I was like, are you kidding me? And here was the number one reason why I think I was supposed to be there. Because she was teaching everybody in there, like for me to get up right now, walk over to the one set of scissors that she had to cut it, and then come back. Well, I'm breaking the seal. And you're not going to get as good of an ear candling if I do that. And if I did that 2 or 3 times, even worse. And she was also showing that you could do it to yourself by looking in the mirror and standing straight, which means you're not ergonomically laying so that everything can drain through the eustachian tubes, number one. Number two, your hair is wide open to being burned as well. And so, like, I could imagine if you're standing near an air conditioning vent, and then you're lit it and it's great, and all of a sudden the air comes on and it blows just right, and it catches, only singes about a couple inches, but then now you got to do something else, and that is not necessary. So yeah, I have somebody that does mine, and actually there's another person here now that I've trained. And I try to train. I have a lot of people that have come here. I don't know how many of them are doing it out there. Some of them might have thought that it was, because being holistic, sometimes people think it doesn't work, but it works just as well. Yeah. In my opinion.
This is what we had before we even had
absolutely
modern medicine. So.
Absolutely. One of the funniest stories is my daughter had, she still has her as a friend, but they're not as close because they're adults, and my daughter's getting married, and there's just differences in where they're at in their life. But her friend's mom actually escaped Iran when she was 16. And so they were friends all during school. And my daughter came in here one time when I was actually doing my son's ears here. And it probably wasn't here. It was probably before, over 10 years ago. Point being is, my daughter goes, Mom, how do you know how to do that? And I said, what do you mean? She says, well, Neely's mom does ear candling all the time on her. It's a monthly thing, and her dad, and this and that. And I said, yes. And when did she learn it? She goes, well, when she was in Iran, that's what they did to keep their ears clean. And I said, yeah, isn't that cool? And so I loved that she could see it from a cultural perspective,
Right.
And also, they were handing it down.
Uh-huh.
And I was just thought that was amazing. And so then my daughter already had an idea of what to expect.
Oh.
And then sometimes she let me do it, not so much. She didn't need it like my son, because everybody's different, right? So that was your ear. And if
Oh
you
my
see,
gosh.
that's burnt down to there.
Okay.
You want about 3 inches.
Oh. Okay.
And then left, so that because you don't want to get it too hot.
Mm-hmm.
And so 3 inches, if anybody, it's about, give or take. Well, if they're watching at home, they might want to know, well, I didn't see it. I would be doing that. Well, wait, what about me? No, we don't want to not
Awesome.
give it to anybody. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cleanse it one more time with this essential oil blend, because this is important to get everything, out of there that might have come. There's a little bit of residue, not a lot. And then one more thing that I'm going to do before we are done with this side and then switch is I am going to take a very tiny, because it's not a full cotton ball, because that's a lot. So, and then I'm going to put it in here, and here's what happens here. We have skin inside of our ear canal. And that skin has a lipid barrier, just like the face. So being that I'm also do skincare, right?
Right.
This is what I know will work. The atomizing of the aromatherapy in there, so the lavender and the cedarwood and the purification, those little different oil blends and what have you that are in there are going to break up, like aromatherapy does, into the air inside of your ear, and they're going to connect to the skin cells and start rebuilding that lipid barrier, because sometimes it gets dry, especially here in Vegas, because we have almost no humidity. And then also because it might be a little bit irritated, just a little bit of redness, because, well, we just stuck a candle in your ear.
Right.
And so it's going to help that, so that helps the healing process.
Okay.
And within 30 minutes then you can take it off and then be about your business, and it's taken care of, starting that cleansing or healing process, so that you don't find it itchy or dry or anything like that.
Okay.
Thank you so much. And this is Sherry Petroni at Oasis to Zen Transformation Spa.
Thank you, Sherry. Before I go and give my review of the service, I just want to let you guys know that after the service, I went and had a tour of her whole spa as well. And I'm going to post that video in my Patreon community page. You have to join as a free member, or you had to be a paid Soulmate member to view the video. I would love to see my Soulmate community grow, so if you'd like to join the Patreon page, link is in the description box. Okay, so my concise and honest review about this is it did work for me. I never went to a doctor to get my ears cleaned yet. The only time I went to see an otorhinolaryngologist was when I was maybe 6 years old, when I stuck a bead inside my ear. Let's just say I am just a kid being a kid at that moment. Anyway, I decided to try doing it holistically due to my long time curiosity about ear candling. I first found out about this through my mom at a very young age. She told us that she wants to try to do it with me and my siblings, but she's just too afraid to do so. Also, I decided to try ear candling because as a recording artist, content creator, and also in my corporate job, I always had to wear headphones. So I think that creates pressure buildup in my ear. Sherry told me there wasn't a lot of earwax that came out, but I went there feeling like there's a lot of pressure buildup in my ears and came out there with a better hearing and pressure was gone. I don't know why and how it happened, but whatever she did, it definitely worked and I was pleased with the results. As far as side effects, I felt really thirsty afterwards and just kept drinking a lot of water for at least 2 days. The next day, I woke up with a headache that kept my balance off a little bit when I got up. So I had to rest for at least half of that day and probably due to dehydration. I guess my body was adjusting and my balance was just going back to normal because, as we all know, our hearing keeps our balance. But on the third day, everything went back to normal and my hearing really improved. This is why I would highly suggest that if you're going to get this service, especially for the first time, be sure to do it that you will at least have 2 days off after getting the service for possible side effects. Overall, I will recommend for you guys to at least give it a try and be sure to go with someone that knows what they are doing or had years of experience like Sherry. Her website information will be in the description box. Thank you for watching, Soulmates, and feel free to share your ear candling stories in the comment section. I would love to read all your experiences too. And if we vibe, subscribe, and always remember everything starts with you.